Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Jeremy Scott Fitness Podcast Radio Show. Coming to you on this Sunday morning here real quick before I hop into our advanced group Metcon session here with some of our crazy athletes this morning. And I got a new mic set up here in the office for sure. Obviously, you guys, we record a lot of different podcasts when I travel, hotel rooms, my home office, on the road, in the car, anywhere I can grab somebody, or when something clicks in my brain, I'll record it. But hopefully, the audio quality of the ones in the office now will be super legit. This mic is super crispy, and the fact I can actually hear people about 100 feet away talking, which is really nuts to me. So hopefully this sounds pretty legit for you guys. We're trying to get the quality as high as we can, especially if we do record these in the office for you guys. So hopefully you enjoy it. So with that said, today's podcast, we're talking about the business of you. And this is actually an email I got from my homie Pat Rigsby, and I've worked with Pat for a long time, different projects throughout the years in fitness and business and everything kind of tied together. So he's helped me do a lot of different things, and he sent this out, and it's kind of geared towards, obviously, entrepreneurs, maybe fitness professionals more so. But I think if you are an entrepreneur, if you have even a side hustle, a solo business, a small company you're part of, or if you're part of a leadership in the organization you're in, or even if you work for a Fortune 100, Fortune 500, or basically just have a job, I think there's a lot of things you guys can take with this. Obviously, if you ever are interested in doing your own thing, running your own business, being part of something that's smaller from the ground up, where you have some sort of profit sharing, where you bring in people and your revenue goes up because of it, I think this will really resonate with you guys and really shed some light on if being an entrepreneur or running your own business or being your own boss is something that you're interested in and something that you want to do. Because I think nowadays it is a little bit sexier and it looks fancier on Instagram when people say, oh, I run my own business or my own company. And no offense to you guys doing the MLM stuff, I'm not trying to hate on it. But if you work for Road and Fields, you don't run your own fucking business. You just don't. I'm sorry. I'm not trying. That's not negative. It's just a reality. Like when you run your own company, like the checks say Team Jeremy Scott Fitness. Jeremy Scott writes the checks to Jeremy Scott. I can go in the bank today and drain every single cent. Unless you can do that, it's not your own company. It's not your own business. Like, you're not part of that. Like, you're part of something, which is cool, but you don't own it. And so what I'm saying is, if you ever want to be the person, like you want to be the man, like you want to eat all the shit, this will shed some light on you guys of probably what I was just a proper way to do it would be, and the most efficient way. And again, I'm not saying like running your own business is super cool and everybody should be an entrepreneur because the world's making it sexier. In fact, it's not. I think it's a lot harder road than most people understand. You're giving up a lot of luxuries and a lot of things along the way. And 10, 11 years ago when I started this, people thought I was a dipshit. They might have made fun of me and thought I was a dumbass and an idiot and a loser. And I have more than enough messages to prove it if you ever want me to read through and share them. And it's only now that it's like, oh, it's super cool, it's super awesome. Yeah, when they can see, the thousands and thousands of painful hours kind of come to light. So with that said, I'm going to kind of read, word for word here with my interjections in between, then share my thoughts at the end here. And we're talking about the business of you. And again, this comes down to work-life balance, and in my opinion, how you would build your ideal life and what you want your work-life happiness balance to look like. Because there isn't a perfect, well, Jeremy, how do you get balance? I'm like, I don't even try to. I don't think it exists for me. For other people, they're going to decide, I spend this much time at work and this much time by myself, and here's what the balance is for them. You get to do what makes you guys the happiest. And again, I don't try to be a bunch of things I'm not. I don't try to be all things to all people. It's impossible. The people who do that, it's ridiculously exhausting, and I watch people really close to me do it. They try to do everything for everyone, and what happens is that they suffer because of it behind the scenes, and two, they never become really great at anything. And, because I'm not that smart and I'm not that brilliant, I just have to have a singular focus on something. And that's how I've become, if you guys consider me successful or whatever it may be, that's how I've got to do all the really cool shit I've got to do and work with the people and the brands and the things and the money I've got to make, is because I get tunnel vision and I go all in on something. And if I'm good at it, I'll keep banging on it. And if I suck at it, I'll get rid of it. So today's message, and I quote, "We pour ourselves into our businesses. We invest long hours, all the passion and energy we have to give, and often our life savings, all in hopes of launching a business that will be successful. We forego the security that comes with a traditional job, the normal schedule, the 401k, the paid vacations, the ability to quote unquote turn it off the moment that we walk out the door." Now, I'm gonna take a side note here, you guys. That's all true. And the turn off moment when you walk out the door, I've seen that come to life in my own life and with my wife as well. Um, she's part of what we do here for sure, but she has her own career. She's responsible for managing, millions and millions of dollars, and they pay her very well for it. And that comes with a certain stress that she has to take on, but she can turn it off. And even at the level that she's at with her career, there still is an off button where she can basically just kind of forget about work emails and phone calls, and we can take a trip and it kind of just disappears for her. And maybe not every second of every day it disappears, but there'll be huge hours and gaps where it just literally doesn't matter to her and doesn't exist. That doesn't really happen for me. I think about this all the time, and I don't hate that. I'm not complaining about it, so don't feel bad for me. But it's something that's always with you. It's like your dark passenger that's always around. And again, you might forget. I might forget about it for 5 minutes here or there, but not hours went by in the past 10 years where I haven't thought about, okay, here's a program, here's content creation, here's something we can do. I'm always jotting down notes or recording videos or doing something to move this forward. Or if it's replying to emails or phone calls or messages on, especially with the internet now, because we have hundreds of people who are on the internet we work with, I'm always kind of open and they always kind of have access to me. And I'm not complaining about that, but there is never an off switch is what I'm saying. It never goes away. I work 7 days a week. I've done that over the past 10 years, and it's kind of part of my system and my process, and I do love that. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to run your own business or start your own company and your side hustle is going to become anything more than something that makes you, 10, 20, 30 grand a year, if it's going to become a solidified career, you'll never be able to turn it off. At least that's been my experience. So back to the message. We give all this stuff up. So the turning off, the 401k stuff, the built-in paid vacations, if you will. We give it all up in hopes to build something of our own, something that reflects who we are and a stamp that we want to leave on the world. But there's a problem. We often lose ourselves in the business. Instead of becoming a reflection of us and our goals and our values, we become a reflection of it, its schedule, its clients, its needs. They become your focus and your identity, unless you give appropriate attention to the business of you, unless you take care of you and your family with the same urgency that you take care of your clients, hopefully greater, unless you schedule things that are important to you and adhere to them with the same consistency that you have with scheduling a client session, unless you realize that paying the present you and the future you, your retirement, is more important than paying the business. Unless you realize that you own the business, it doesn't own you, so you should act accordingly. Unless you do all of this and more, the things that go into building and growing the business of you, you're destined to crash. It might be burnout or growing resentment for the very thing you were so eager to build. It might be a failure to take care of your own health and fitness and the very things that draw you to the field. It might be alienating your family and the very people you want to make proud that you are creating. So here's what I propose. Now let me stop for a second before I read forward. All that stuff is true, you guys. I've seen it over and over again, especially people in the health and fitness industry. So if you're out there and you're like, oh man, I love working out, I love fitness, I want to do it for a career, for a living. I know people say this all the time, and I'm going to go twofold here. I'm going to be completely honest with you. People will come in and say, oh man, it's so easy for you. You work in a gym, must be so easy to work out and be fit. And a part of that, kind of true. But when you own it, and you're not just a coach in it, when you have to do all the operation stuff, you oversee it. Even though like Monica's a gangster here, she has a lot of great stuff. Jacob helps us out, Matt, Travis, everybody we work with is great, and they've helped me do this. I could not do it on my own, my wife, a bunch of other people. You're responsible for it all. And when you spend the amount of time we spend building these things and running it and marketing and doing all the stuff we do, it is actually tough to find time to work out and to train. Now, I make it mandatory, but you'll be surprised how many fitness people, fitness business owners, do not train consistently. They're run down by it. And the same thing, the resentment of it, and then, failing to take care of themselves, it's 100% true. A friend of mine, he runs a fitness business, super successful. Profit margins are super high. He's got a shit ton of clients. He's making a shit ton of money. And he would complain about, oh man, I'm so tired. I'm so busy. I'm like, hey, Dick, this is everything you wished for. This is everything you ever prayed and wanted for 5 years ago, and now you're pissed off because you got it. And they start to resent the fact that they have to be there and work in it and make the money. And so that's kind of, where you have to find a balance of being an entrepreneur and building a strong team, and having some sort of, what am I okay with doing? What am I okay not with doing? So with that said, what Pat is proposing is take a lesson from the greatest investor of our time, Warren Buffett. Of all the potential investments available to you, he suggests that the greatest investment you can make is the investment in yourself. So start with the business of you, building that from the inside out. And so know that if becoming a better leader, you have to have a better team. If you're happy at home, you'll be happier at work. If you're healthy, the energy you have will spread through your business. You're in the business of helping others become the best version of themselves, so lead by example, which, a side note, is what I literally die trying to do. I try to lead from the front, you guys. I don't try to tell you to eat food I won't eat. I don't tell you to take supplements I don't take. I don't tell you to train like I don't train. I don't tell you to sleep like I sleep, drink like I drink. I literally try to I'm a practitioner of this. I'm not teaching theory. I'm not selling you guys a bunch of fucking bullshit. I don't believe in it. I would make way more money selling you guys stuff that doesn't work as effectively than selling you guys the stuff I do now. And literally what I sell you guys is work out, eat right, sleep, don't stress, be an awesome fucking person, wash, rinse, repeat. That is it. So I assure you guys that you can have a great business and a great career and a great life if you have a great life outside of work. But it's a lot like you tell your clients that, to lose weight, for example. You think that it's all about deprivation, giving up what you enjoy in hopes of having something different, when the truth is, it's about embracing change, evolution, and new habits. It's about making better choices and becoming a better version of yourself. It's no more you starving your personal life to build a business than starving them to lose weight. So take the advice and start building the business that you want of you. And that kind of ends his email. And basically what he's saying is, and I say this all the time, this doesn't have to be about running your own business. This is about you guys working in your career. And if I go through this and I just replace, running your own business with your career, for you guys out there, a lot of you are doing this for somebody else, a brand, a company, whatever it may be. You're an accountant, you're a sales rep, you're in human resources, and you're literally giving these people, these companies, your life. You're giving them every ounce of energy you possibly can. You're going home just a broken wreck mess of shit. And what I'm saying to you guys is, if you're happy at home, you're happier at work. If you're healthy and you have energy, that spreads to your career as well. When you're in the business of giving a shit about yourself, everything else is going to be amazing. And what I'm driving at is this. I think we all do this. I've probably been guilty of it before, specifically when I really started this early on. I knew there's going to be a certain amount of shit I had to eat and a lot of things I was going to have to give up if I wanted to eventually create a lifestyle built around this. And that's kind of how I build this business. I build it around my lifestyle and what I like and what I want to do and the way I schedule things. Now, do I want to be here at 4:30 in the morning most days? No, that's not really ideal, but that's what this life calls. And I knew that coming into it. I knew that was buying into, but I can also structure where the middle of the day is open so I have time to train, or I'll make it mandatory so I can train. I can be home every single night. I'm not a huge fan of traveling for work, even though we have to do it for certain events and things, and I'm very blessed to be able to do that. I don't want to travel 2-3 times a week. I have no interest in it. I don't want to go just do speaking engagements and do a ton of live events outside of my ecosystem and living in a hotel. It's not what I like. So I've built this around my life so it makes me happy and makes me healthy. And I think you guys can do the same thing. So meaning if you're spending 70 hours a week at your job, but that's robbing you guys of important family time, it's robbing you guys of, being able to do physical activity, you have to really step back and work on the business of you. What kind of life do you want to have? And not just the money you want to make. What kind of life do you want to have? How healthy do you want to be? How much time do you want to spend with your family? How much vacation time do you really need? And how much do you want? How many trips do you want to take with the people who matter to you? And that might come down to you guys making less money or making more money. Finding a career with better work-life balance that has you travel more or travel less. Having you guys maybe live in a smaller house or drive a different car or adjust your spending habits to evolve and embrace the change of having healthier habits to live a better, more kick-ass life. So I just want to share this with you guys. I thought it was really great when I read through it, and I do think it's true. I think a lot of people kind of get their priorities mixed up and we get confused and we get so wrapped up in the shit and the mess of life of just kind of going through the habits, and we're giving our job and our career everything possible, and yet we are suffering because of it, and we end up a product of our habits, as opposed to having habits that actually, make us healthier and happier and build us a better, more badass life. We become just a product of our work. Well, I work these hours to these hours. That's how it is. That's how it's always going to be, and my life has to revolve around that. What I'm saying to you is it doesn't. You literally can change your circumstance, and you can change your outcome, and you can change the way that you live your life if you're just diligent about it, especially nowadays with the internet and all the connections with people and access to resources that we have. You really are in the driver's seat, and you truly are in control. I just know a lot of times we really get wrapped up in our own shit. And we get lost along the way of what's important to us and what we truly want to get done and what we truly want to get out of this life. Because life is short. It really is. And I wish everybody could feel what I feel and see the world, the way that I see it. That's why I make, these episodes of the podcast. I know that they're not a ton about, fitness and nutrition, and some of you guys probably could give a shit. But I think this is the game. This is everything. If you can be happy, that's you being successful. If you guys can have a certain amount of, free time for your mind and your body and your life, I think you're going to be more productive at your job. Because we live in an economical world. You guys have to work. Unless you got born rich as shit with like 50 million bucks, which certainly isn't me, we're going to have to find a way to create revenue for our life to buy the things that we want to have and to be safe and to be secure. But I think we literally are going about it the wrong way, a lot of us, especially you guys who run your own business. You're letting everything dictate your schedule when you can create it in the light to living the life that you want. And I think that goes the same for you guys who are in corporate America. You're not married to any job or position. These companies, they don't give a fuck about you. They really don't at the end of the day. They care about the bottom line. And I don't mean to say this negatively, but if you guys drop dead, these companies are going to still keep going. Nothing's going to change. They're not going to slow down. They'll be sad for a day or two for you, but somebody else has got to fill your spot because they got to, they got stockholders. They have certain financial goals they have to hit, and the show just has to keep rolling. So what I'm urging you guys to do, the takeaway from the message is, literally don't give up your entire life just for a job, just for money. I want you guys to be happy and create a life that you truly want, and that balance is up to you guys to find. But what I've found is pouring your life into something you enjoy or that you love, or even if you don't enjoy the job or you don't love the job, you don't love the task, that job is giving you enough free time, enough paid vacation, enough money to be happy as shit every single day, regardless of if you have a couple of tasks during the day you don't love to do. But again, if you're really sick and you're fed up and stuck in a rut and doing some shit that you really don't like, it's 2019. You have enough resources, enough opportunity to change that and live whatever kind of life you want, but you really have to start working on the business of you and making you the most badass, happiest version of yourself. Because once you're happy and once you're educated, once you're powered with the knowledge, you can do anything you want within reason. And I truly do believe that. So take that for what it's worth, you guys. Just my quick rant on working on the business of you, making your life the happiest, most badass thing it can be. If there's anything else you guys want to hear in the podcast, hit me up, let me know, shoot me a message. I have a ton of suggestions from you guys. A lot of you guys on IGTV, by the way, send me messages and you request a podcast, but you already have access to them. I've already recorded a ton of them. So make sure you scroll through the whole list on Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you guys listen to podcasts. And if you are on iTunes right now, if you have an iPhone, if you're listening to this on your iPad, on your MacBook, stop. Don't be a lazy ass. Open up the podcast app, click on iTunes, type in Jeremy Scott Fitness, drop us a 5-star, leave a comment. I truly would appreciate you guys. It sincerely does help us out. And again, there's literally tens of thousands of you listening to the podcast and not nearly as many of you dropping reviews and comments or even subscribe for that matter. And I don't want you guys want to miss anything that's quality on here. And again, if I can touch on anything that you guys want to hear, I for certainly will. I got a ton of guests coming on the pipe as well. I'm going to try to get these guys in here probably next week or so, starting there. And until next time, you guys, eat well, train hard, be nice to people, and please just keep doing shit you love with people you enjoy because your life is too short not to. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have an amazing rest of your Sunday. Peace.